I love you, and I will love you until I die. And if there's a life after that, I will love you then. The movie starts with Neval, an accountant and bank employee. On his way home after playing sports, Neval notices a girl who takes care of stray cats. This catches his attention, and he admires her. Neval is well off and successful in the world of accounting, where it is obvious that work comes first in his life, and he has no feelings or emotions. Neval is astonished by the girl's loud voice when he sees her playing and singing after leaving the bank. The two then get to know one another, and we learn the girl's name is Alara. Neval leaves work early the next day and wishes to meet up with his buddies, but they are all preoccupied with other commitments. Neval chooses to go meet his mother, who is delighted to have him over. It is clear that Neval's mother's life differs from his, because she does not lead an opulent lifestyle at her home, and is insistent about staying put. Neval starts to remember his father everywhere, as he remembers talking to him. It seems that he was sick because he had lung cancer, because of his work in a chemical company, and he died a year ago. We understand from Neval's memories that his father was quick-tempered, because the most important thing for him is Neval's success and to become a rich person. So he provided him money to help him in his studies and to succeed, without giving him love and tenderness. Neval has struggled to tolerate his father's presence in the house because of his psychological issues brought on by his childhood abuse. The following morning, Neval arrives at a meeting with his director and is startled to see his colleague Samir there. Neval then gives his director a report on the loan requests of various businesses and discusses which business is most deserving of a loan. The project will be managed by the owner of the best report. The director informs them, because there are new businesses that have joined. As a result, the director wants them to prepare a comprehensive report on the best offers. Neval finds this topic very upsetting because he has been working there for several months and feels that he is the one that has a right to carry out this project. Neval is persistent in trying to persuade Samir, so he decides to spend the entire night studying the requests from businesses. Because he lacks emotions and feelings, he has rejected the request to fire his assistant even though she has finished her work and wants to go see his daughter. When Neval overhears him sobbing while speaking to his daughter, he feels helpless and gives him permission to leave. He then suggests that since she is late, he bring her home in his car. Neval runs across Alara while they are outside, where she is playing and singing. He then wants to hear her sing. Alara feels fatigued out of the blue, so Neval apologizes to Layla and drives her to the hospital. Despite her exhaustion, Alara was very curious to know what kind of automobile Neval drove. The doctor at the hospital informs Neval that Alara's status is stable, but the agony she is experiencing is not typical. As a result, tests were performed to determine what sickness she has, and she will spend the entire night under care. Neval went to Alara's room and told her about his conversation with the doctor and that he had to go to work, but Alara felt tired and was determined to go home. Neval declines her request because he was afraid for her and had to stay by her side to care for her. When Alara wasn't in the room the following morning, Neval inquired after her actions. He learned that she had left the hospital, but she had left him a letter of apologies in her face. When Neval sees the doctor once more, the findings of Alara's test have been revealed, and it appears that the girl has an immune system and lung ailment that is fatal and for which there is, sadly, no solution. The violin was left in Neval's vehicle by Alara. He then immediately goes to the bank and apologizes to the manager for not being able to finish the report in time. Neval is disappointed by the manager's choice after hearing that he accepted Samir's report from him. Neval found Alara waiting to thank him and express his appreciation for his interest in her as he reached his office. Here, Alara recognizes that Neval knew about her illness, and it is demonstrated that she accepts her circumstances despite her anguish upon learning that there is no therapy for her illness and that she had less than a year to live. Alara informs Neval that she chose to live so that she might carry out some of the wishes she had written down in the cards before she passed away. Neval appears shocked by the apparent sense of relief on Alara. She left the office after telling him that one of her wishes was to look after the cats and even sing in the street to raise money despite having her terrible voice. Neval began to feel sympathy for Alara, so he tried to assist her in raising money by singing, asking the bank trainees to hear her sing, and offering them money to give to Alara. The girl was ecstatic at the time, especially since she had finished the prescribed quantity. The following day, Alara notices Neval carrying little cat houses. She thanked him for helping her care for the cats, and she learned that he was also instrumental in granting her request to raise money. When Neval inquires about her third desire, she replies that it is to be able to drive a sports car similar to hers. It is at this point that we can see why she had inquired about Neval's sort of vehicle while in the hospital. Because he spent meaningful time with Alara and was drawn to her upbeat disposition, Neval felt content with her. After that, Neval invited Alara to come home with him, and she readily accepted his invitation. They spent the entire night together, and after she saw a picture of him with her father and he revealed that he had lung disease, she realized that Neval shared her father's illness with her and that he was sympathetic to her plight. It follows that they should find each other attractive. The next morning, Alara was noticed by Neval sobbing in pain. She insisted that he go to work because he refuses to leave her in this condition, and she told him that she felt better. Neval then confessed his love to her. When leaving, we can tell that Neval's heart has been broken by the depth of his sorrow and agony since he loves Alara and knows that his death is imminent and that he cannot help her. When he arrived at the bank, the manager informed him that he had given Samir access to some company's information. This infuriated Neval, especially since he could not stand being preoccupied with any issue during Alara's illness, and he thought of resigning. We observe Neval in a moment of weakness telling Layla about his love for Alara, his illness, and the fact that she will pass away in front of his eyes. Neval and Alara went out together that evening. When he inquired about her family, she declined to discuss it at the time. Alara's illness started to manifest when she got home, and Neval was taking care of her. Due to the demands of his job, he had to leave her with her mother. Neval arrives at the bank and is greeted by the manager, who pleasantly surprises him by explaining that Samir has been given responsibility for all projects as they prepare Neval to take over as bank manager, making him the youngest manager in history. Neval appears pleased on the outside but is clearly depressed within due to Alara's situation. In order to organize joint contracts between them for a period of 2 weeks or a month, the manager instructed him to get ready to travel to the bank in London. Neval explains to Alara the duty he will perform and that he has long dreamed of holding this position, but that he is currently bewildered and unable to make the best choice. He is encouraged to accept the position by Alara, and until he gets back, she will wait. As the trip day approached, their anguish became apparent, and when Alara returned home, she sobbed uncontrollably. Neval also notices a person with lung disease in front of him, which causes him to think about Alara and how he abandoned her while she was ill before surprising her by coming home and giving up the dream of traveling. They were overjoyed when Neval proposed to marry her, and Alara accepted the proposal without any hesitation. After the wedding, Alara made the choice to accompany Neval to the village to meet his family, who were pleased to see him but were shocked by his marriage. Alara became seriously unwell at night, and Neval took care of her as usual. Alara was a teacher, which was revealed to us when Neval spoke with Alara's father the following morning. It was clear from their chat that Alara had kept Neval in the dark regarding the nature of his work prior to being unwell. Her father also explained to her the source of her illness and the fact that there are other people in the hamlet who have the same illness as she does as a result of a mine that was established there. The mine's emissions of smoke and garbage are what trigger the illness in children under 5. Neval suddenly recalls that he was in charge of the mine owner's request for a loan from the bank at the time. Despite the risks associated with the existence of the mine near the homes, the bank's management approved the loan and allowed them to proceed, and as a result, Neval now believes that he is to blame for Alara's illness. The following day, Alara and Neval went on a stroll together. When Alara started to feel out of breath, Neval supported her and they walked to Alara's favorite spot in the village, which she had frequented since she was a young child. Alara was thrilled with Neval's words as he began to discuss his hopes for their future together. He expressed the desire to have met her before her illness and the want for them to have children. Suddenly, he discovered her dead in his arms, sharing her final breath with him. Despite knowing that this day was inevitable, Neval absolutely collapses in shock and rejects the concept of dying. On the day of Alara's funeral, Neval is shown crying and apologizing to his family since he thought that he is to blame for his illness. Alara's mother plays a recording for him, and as Neval hears it, his heart breaks. In the audio, Alara pleaded her to hang on to life and clear her mind of any memories that turn her into a ghost throughout the rest of his life. The ending of the movie, we learn that Neval had resigned from his position and had contributed a portion of his earnings to help the local hospital in Alara's hamlet. 5 years later, Neval dedicated his life to helping people who suffered from the same illness as Alara and his father. He also filed a lawsuit against the mine to have it closed, carrying out Alara's wishes in the process.